to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, they emailed the minutes to us, but they got a copy here. You want to take a second? I didn't see anything. Anybody else see anything on it? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
That's the move.
Bill makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Deanna seconds. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Renee. Sheriff Myro.
Good morning. Start out this morning, we haven't talked about commissary. My efforts to not get sideways with the state board of accounts, because we all know it's a big issue right now. There's a couple of commissary expenditures are pretty well laid out. So we did reach out to the state board of accounts, but there's a couple issues I'd like to pay for our commissary. I believe I emailed you facts on that. But the bottom line is Indiana code. In response from the state board of accounts, any other purpose that benefits the sheriff's department that is mutually agreed upon by the county fiscal body and the county sheriff. That's the bottom line, if you will. So with that being said, we all know the commissary is self-funded by the inmates, no county money involved. And what we're doing is twice a month, we're giving them the opportunity to order Domino's pizza, which is a big thing to them. When we order pizzas, we're ordering 25, 30 pizzas at a time. And Domino's is actually charging us a delivery fee or a tip, if you will. So the tip is, you can't pay tips with county money. But you can with commissary money. And then the second thing is, if we're ordering from our local Walmart, at least weekly, in other words, anywhere from $50 to $250, depending on inventory. And they're getting delivered as well. So I'd like your permission, if you will, to agree with me that we can pay that tip of commissary. We're talking probably $75 a month. It's not a huge expense by any means. So, and the second part of that is pay out of commissary. We're at a lot of events. We're at the county fair. We're at the Power of the Pass, Fall Festival. We got a booth set up. We need to purchase promotional materials, coloring books for kids, recruitment material. So I'd like you to agree with me that we can purchase those materials out of commissary. Because again, that benefits the sheriff department. That's what I'm asking for as far as commissary.
About what does that
$2,000, $2,500 maybe. And again, it's very comfortable spending that much with what we've got.
What's our annual intake about right now in commissary?
I can tell you what our current balance is right now, it's $68,000 as of yesterday afternoon. The only expenditure we haven't paid for yet is we agreed to buy a transport van out of that, which is $48,000. Has not been delivered yet, so $20,000 we'll probably go over that by the moment. But we're taking in $20,000 more ballpark figure. So we're not letting it get low by any stretch of imagination. Keep a pretty tight rein on that. And again, it's been a legislature has been looking at commissaries. I don't want to be sideways with that by any stretch of imagination. As long as the council and the fiscal body agrees with that, then we should be good.
I'll make a motion and we allow him to take it out of commissary and pay the tips. I'll second.
Motion made by Bill, second by Ernie to pay the tips and educational material out of commissary. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Item number 2 is our one grant here. I want to seek your approval. I'll follow through with it. This is the SHIRP grant for the Comprehensive Highway Injury Reduction Program. This is a grant we've been doing for 15, 16 years. $56,000. This is the application out for your review. The application is due at the end of this month. So again, this is a grant we've been doing for 15 years, $6,000. It pays for the grant double time for our staff to be out working. And the highlight areas are for clicker or check it, the seatbelt, County County Airport, and also the stop arm violation enforcement project for the school bus stop arm. So there is no match, if you will, financially. There is a match, but it's an in-kind. So there is no outlay for us to participate in this grant. Again, I'm just asking that we, again, move forward with this grant, $56,000.
This has been going on since
15, 16 years.
The application does say that.
Again, but that's an in-kind. It's a match for one of our salaries. There's no financial outlay.
this budget narrative is how you break it down.
Correct.
25,000.
It's not just us,
15
but,
to 10.
yeah. St. Paul Marshall and the Newport Marshall also participate in this. They're getting a piece of that pie as well.
This money all stay with the sheriff's department. It's not city sheriff. The other.
Correct. They did not participate in this, but
We need a motion to approve or? That's fine. I can make a motion to
Is it
apply.
applying? Is that what you're looking for?
yeah, this application is due at the end of this month.
Okay.
And I don't see a reason why we wouldn't get it, because we didn't participate for so long.
Make a motion to allow the apply application for the grant. Kenny makes a motion to approve the application for the grant. Seconds. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Abby,
Good morning. I am here to notify you guys of a grant that we are applying for. The advisory board that actually approved it on Friday. We are applying for two separate grants. One is a Department of Corrections grant, and that is our probation and community corrections salaries. The total that we asked for that grant is $239,400. And then the other grant we receive is from the Indiana Office of Court Services, and this pays for our wellness court employee, also known as drug court or problem solving court employee. The amount we've requested on that is $120,275. The DOC grant's been funded since 2014. And then we got an additional in 2017, and then the Indiana Office of Court Services grant has been funded for the last 2 years. So just asking for your guys' approval.
all the grants here, commissioners approved them.
Yeah, commissioners approved them, and then the council, our advisory board approved them on Friday. So I believe that just the new auditor, normally like our grant processes, the auditor's office processes now that we can for you guys for approval on that form.
That's the new state board of accounts.
Yes.
Well,
This is my board of accounts, yes.
One grant's for $239,400. The other one is $120,275, correct? You want to make a motion to approve them both?
I'll make that motion.
Deanna makes a motion to approve both grants.
I'll second it.
Rick seconded. Any other discussion, questions?
You always get it, but is there a plan B if you didn't get it? But this kind of,
Yeah, so if we didn't get it, we would unfortunately have to come to you guys to ask for funding, and we would use user fees to supplement as well, which is like project income.
These are usually pretty good to get though, correct?
Correct,
I
yes.
mean, they're usually,
Yeah, we've been getting them since 2014. They've said no new money is coming, but they have not cut our money. They've cut other counties, but we use our money every year. So they're not looking to cut us this year.
got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you guys.
thank you. And then down to, okay, Doug Westerfield.
He's unable to make it this morning, but I can speak of what he's,
Okay.
the additional. So they've had extra attorney fees for the area plan attorney and GNX, which is the parent company of Cobia, has offered to pay up to $90,000 for any extra attorney fees, administration, anything that they see fit to be reimbursed for. So GNX has written a check. They have reimbursed the county, and now we're just needing to take that check out of cash and put it into the appropriation that we originally paid the attorney for.
So Cobia has their,
Cobia has paid.
okay.
We do have the check on.
So it really just goes back into line item
It does.
1,400.
Yes.
So that's the reason the attorney fees were
Mhm.
lower.
Yeah. Everybody get that? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Kenny makes a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Bill seconds. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Rob D. Hall.
Good morning. Thank you for seeing me on short notice to the agenda. I believe you guys all are aware that Commissioners approved us proceeding with doing construction on the back four of the back four ball diamonds at the complex. Go ahead and proceed to do them with serve. With that though, obviously you probably saw that Gabe and I were kind of going around trying to find other ways of getting the shortfall that paid for. As of yesterday's meeting, I mean, was going to the city, trying to get a partnership through the city. Unfortunately, I didn't see any further partnership was needed at this time. Jeremy made or had came with the idea, I guess, or the recommendation that we use and build Decatur County fund to help finance or help to put towards the rest of the project, so we could have that project funded and move forward with that. So that's why I'm here today. I believe you're all aware of that, to come here, because not only does it require commissioner approval, it also requires council approval for use of those funds. And I did have printouts for you guys kind of to show the shortfall needed and what that number is. If you want these, I can hand them out to you. That number as of right now is right around 221,000. Or about 222,000. I expect it to come in less as some of the budget items that I have for out there come in less, as far as blacktopping that north lot in the area between diamonds 1 and 2. So wherever those fall, I'm thinking it's going to come in, and whatever money we raise to sponsorship wise between now and December when this is required to be paid. Hopefully it'll come in. My goal is to have it come in right around that 200 or less, and I believe Jeremy wants us at least have a line item. I think it was right around $250,000 of that fund, up to if needed. So, and I believe that number, I guess had the number on that fund. I believe it was around 281,000 in that fund currently. So it'll deplete it totally. And I don't want to do that either, but.
So are you currently still seeking outside funding to help offset the cost of that?
I will do that, yeah. So so some highlights of that, of course, the reasoning to move forward obviously was, if we don't, the number goes up significantly going into next year, later this year, if we don't act on the proposal, we should get the back four done. We've also received significant, I guess you could say, commitment from ESSA with that. They've committed to the next 5 years, a minimum of 15 tournaments with us every year. The next 5 years, we do have that in our hands and signed a contract with them, and that was something that Chad Smith had reviewed and put together. So those things combined, we thought it was just beneficial now to move forward with doing that. But until that time, and AstroTurf is giving us until December 15th to pay them for the completion of those. So then we met with the softball and baseball boards, Gabe and I did, and Teresa, and came up with a logistic workaround for them to use 6 diamonds while the 2 are in construction. We'll use the middle 2 dirt, the front 4 turf diamonds for their season and practices. And then once their season's over, finish it out around that August timeframe to where they'll all be done probably by September, October. Then payment wouldn't be due till December. All through that, I mean, obviously we want to try to raise and try to obtain financing, or other sources of funding through other venues if possible. I know we went to the community foundation, and as of right now, I mean, they're seeking other things to do with their money, just in short. But they did say that we could apply for the small grant or the large grant, which is now $20,000. Brian Robbins and I intend on doing that, trying to get some of those dollars as well. And then maybe visiting that too. I mean, there's going to be other things that come up that we could possibly take a look at.
Some of the revenue you take in from these ball tournaments this summer, will it be applied to that money?
I think we need, I mean, obviously we want to try to, I guess, budget that to the best of our ability to make sure we can set some of that back too for ongoing repair expense or replacement down the road. But I think, yeah, I mean, whatever we can, we want to put towards it. Absolutely.
What is the maintenance on those turf every year? I mean, do we have to buy it? I know they have to go out there and fluff that.
So we have a groomer that we already built or already bought, and it's out there. So that will have to be done. So our project manager out there says that should be done at least once or twice a week, depending on the pace of play. He knows we're going to be having through the summer months, heavy months, May, June, July. We could be running that. There could be games on there every day, depending on when those tournaments fall. And even with that, he said, as long as you're grooming at least once or twice a week, it should be fine. Now, you're also going to have high impact areas where sliding in second, sliding into home, where kids stand, where they play in the field. We need to be being we're actually training on this today. So the maintenance guys and I will be training out there. We have to be walking through those fields at least once every day or two and checking those. AstroTurf's going to have a garbage can filled of the infill and sand mixture sitting in the dugouts for us. Now, keeping kids out, not throwing trash in there, it's going to be interesting. But with the scoop, and ideally, you'll have to go out there. We'll look it over. And the maintenance, you can come on to it. You just check it over those high impact areas and get brush it in, get a broom, or you can something hand or foot. But you want to keep those level. I mean, it's going to pile up, kind of not as quick as dirt, but you're going to they're not going to get far enough in it to tear a seam or get in there and tear the bottom of the turf out either. So we have to be on top of that. So in my opinion, significantly less maintenance than having dirt and having holes in the condition that it's in now and having to worry about that thing. You could really work on those holes. If you did it right, you should have clay out there, digging it out, packing clay back in, and then putting dirt back over half-inch to an inch thick every time. So just packing full same dirt that's out there.
So there was a pretty significant saving by having them go ahead and do the back pool while they were there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't have the number exactly. I mean, but we were estimating the guy, our representative, that would be, anywhere from what I understood, $250,000 difference, probably what the price adjustment would be.
And then that 5-year contract was signed based on the fact that we were going to do the back pool.
There's no stipulation in the contract that we're going to do back for.
Okay.
It's not, I mean, obviously, they want to see it done. They can, so there's a couple arguments that came up. If you guys follow anything that happened with us going to the city, obviously, was that we were going to lock people out too, is that we're getting overflow tournaments. That's not the case. That upset them pretty much, and that's what convinced them to go do a 5-year contract with us. These aren't overflow. Obviously, once we do the back date, it allows them to play more tournaments. So if you look at it now, we're signed up in tournaments having from 80 to 120 teams. There's no way one location is going to be able to flow that many teams in a timely manner. So we are separate sites combined with, say, like a Shelbyville or Saraland or North Vernon. One of those, the state tournament that they're going to play here at the end of the summer, has all 4 sites. Now, if you look at those on their site, we may not be listed first name on there. We came in late to the game. We did. I mean, when we started this last year, they already had their August set. They allowed us to come in, but when they put us on there as turf, we're signing up and getting billed first. And those teams, so like if we look at baseball, 13 AA, 13 AA division, we had 14 teams in it in that first tournament they're playing here in May, sold out. And then they had 12A, 11 AA, stuff like that. and they had maybe a couple teams left to fill those. We're over 30 teams.
Who else? Who else has a turf diamond?
Sacramento, Lincoln Park will have 6, in Columbus when they do theirs. It's just the way everybody's going, and if you don't,
Yeah.
you're left behind. You know, I mean, it's proven fact. I mean, you could argue back and forth the benefits, the pros and cons all day. I mean, obviously the pro is, I mean, they, you know, pace of play. I mean, and not only that, I mean, you know, this benefits our county leagues as well, right? Our you know, our rec leagues that play out there because I've done it many years. I mean, it rains at 9 o'clock in the morning. We still can't play 5 at night.
I guess I'm fine with spending money on them back diamonds, but I think, and getting money from what Bill Decatur County comes out,
Yeah, I'm
next to it, I think.
having trouble using local income tax money.
Well,
That's my problem.
I think we need to set up a plan that this gets paid back over time. Like, we loan you the 200,000, make it a loan, and then I think this is gonna generate more income than a lot of people realize. That would go back into this Bill Decatur County fund, if we could get some kind of agreement on that,
I
it would make
believe
it better.
between ARP and TIF money was what, 1.3? One million three.
So I can run through, yeah, so ARPA right now, I mean, the initial was 550, and then, there was initial 345. There's around 9
Where
plus
does that
9,
Bill
and
Decatur
400,
money come from?
1.3.
It's in the edit, it was in there. It's supposed to
County,
be.
back in the day,
Yeah,
we established that because you had to have a edit plan. And I think
Okay.
there were maybe 4 different funds that we had at one point. And the thought for that was to be able to help support projects within the county that added value to the county.
Yeah, okay.
And that kind of thing, where you could actually maybe pay cash for something instead of, you know, doing a bond or whatever kind of thing. So that was the theory behind it.
So this project will be that type of a project that would have funded back. in-
But I think to Ernie's point, having a way to pay that back,
Mhm.
you know, when we used to have plans and implementations in the commissioner's budget, we would spend that for whatever, like a chiller on the roof. We would try to replace that. That was rainy day money. We would try to replace that rainy day money as best we could, so we just didn't spend it all down to zero. My question, the first tournament is when?
April 11th.
And so have you checked with Holiday Inn and all the other hotels to see if there's been a surge in booking rooms locally for that?
There has been.
And I think that's really amazing how much it brings into the county. track.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a way we can do it and come up with that plan later. I mean, I'm not opposed to that either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's.
Well, my question is, you said it's not due until December 15th. So
Right, but we want to make sure that we have funds so we can get the contract signed so we can get scheduled. Because there's, not only do we need to get scheduled, it has to go into production. There's still a time frame behind it where we'd still be able to, groundwork to begin, but then we, you know, obviously want to follow up and have turf laid on those diamonds as soon as possible so they can then play on those before we're in a sprint.
Well, I kind of agree with Ernie. I think I wouldn't have a problem with committing the money right now with the stipulation that we need to set up some type of repayment on that, however it works out. Get with the commissioners and figure out what. I mean, we don't want to take all the funds that they make and
Yeah,
without having some maintenance money there, but I think we can get part of it back. Then that way we have the funds back in there to reinvest in something else.
Explain, Rob, how much you get and the organization gets that's putting the tournament on. I mean, they end up with quite a bit of your money. You're not, ain't like you're taking in
well, they don't,
1,000.
they're making their money obviously on team signups and gate entry fees.
Okay.
So we're making our money on concession and renting the diamonds to them.
So how much is it a diamond? What do you get? per diamond?
$225 per diamond per day.
Per turf, if it's turf, or if it's not turf?
Turf, yeah, so yeah, good call. So it'd be 175 non-turf, 225. But they're all turf, and 225. That's the agreement we have with them. Now, we can advance that. as we want. So that was the catch on the agreement, is the next 5 years they're gonna get those 225 per diamond per day. That's the only thing that we gave to them, other than, you know, that's on the weekends they sign up for, that's theirs. You know what I mean? They'll play there. Somebody else wants to come in and rent them, we obviously, I think, should be renting them for more. Especially after the next year. That means if we need to increase our prices, they'll be locked in effect.
Does the county organizations pay anything to play out there?
They do not. So with that being said, obviously, we don't plan on, I know that was the argument, we don't have any intention of locking county residents out. If I think you're a non-county resident, I do think you need to pay to play with us. That's part of the reason that diamonds are in the shape they're in now.
Yeah.
We have folks from other counties in Indianapolis coming down to use our diamonds at no expense, and they don't have any care of what condition they leave it in. So with the technology we have in place, we would like to be able, we at least want somebody to sign up if they're gonna use it, so we have a calculator to do this all the time. So if local travel team uses it, hey, all we're asking is you go online to sign up for that time. Once we figure technology, it's gonna be a learning process. Once we figure out technology, they'll be able to go up there and unlock the gate, so the gates will unlock for the time that they have it reserved, and then lock behind them once it's done. That way somebody don't have to put it on. So, something were to happen that time and we can track it, then we could then say, and we find out, we could then say, okay, you did this. I mean, you know, negotiate, talk with them about repair, but if it's somebody local, I would have a hard time thinking they're about to destroy it.
You put numbers to this at all, since we already have all of these tournaments booked? Like, do you have a rough idea of a budget / income from it yet?
Haven't really sat down. It's been kind of crazy, but the original idea is we're going to make the net would be anywhere from 10 to 14 per tournament, a concession, not including what we're rental, not including a rental. So that excludes all expenses. So that, like I said, that's just net. ROI was right around 6 to 7 years, basically. And typically, that's what the initial number was. So that's all. That's all. Not 4 was little. ROI
You're saying
was
10 to 14,000 on concessions?
Yes. That's what that number is.
I don't see that happening. I really don't.
That's
I do not see that happening.
Well, a year ago, nobody thought we'd have tournaments in our fields, so.
I ran this
2
number
day
by,
tournaments.
sometimes it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You can't imagine how many people.
A lot of people go through. I mean, obviously, we want to rent out some vendor space too. So out, you know, some food trucks, things like that.
The whole concession thing is gonna be a learning process for the first year in the transition. It's, like I said, when I was coming to you for this position that Robin now has, I could never guarantee exactly in concrete what it will be. But I do have knowledge of high school concessions for 26 years, and I do know that those numbers are possible, but you know, you have to take into consideration your expenses too. You know, you have to buy the product to sell, you have to have the people to work. But I do think the concession potential could be surprising to you guys. I mean, I think it will add up eventually, especially on the larger tournaments for 3 days.
That's obviously dating. I know that's the number that we don't know until we actually do it. You know what I mean? I'm just taking estimates of what other folks have said. And to add to that, I want to, Teresa did the work hard. If you get a chance to inside the concession, we have stainless steel tables there that she's taken under her wing and done. It looks amazing. Repainted the inside. So we're getting air conditioning installed in there at some point here. So it's going to be cool in that area too.
With the Build Decatur County Fund, that it's for things that add value. Is there any other stipulation of how those funds can be used?
Back when it's commissioner, I don't recall any other stipulations that were there. Then choice of the board of the council as well. So
Well, I mean, with everything happening at the state level, with budgets and things, we don't know exactly how we're going to be impacted yet. I don't want to almost empty a fund that could be used to help with some of those shortfalls potentially, but I don't know that it sounds like this fund. That makes sense.
Yeah. And it could have been used to work on some buildings and stuff, which we really got a lot of buildings to need maintenance done to them. hold on.
I agree. I forget who I talked about. I agree. I don't think we should deplete it by any, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So we also gotta look at what our long-term return on investment is. If we, yeah, we may have other projects that we could use that money on. But right now, I think if we're gonna create an inviting environment in Decatur County, this is definitely one way to do it. And it can generate income. How much income, I don't think we really have any idea on that, but if we have 4 diamonds, it's gonna generate this amount of money. If we have 8 diamonds, it can generate this amount of money. And the thing I like about it is we have till December to figure out the dollars. What they're asking now is that we gotta make a commitment to get it done. I would, urge Rob to continue to try to seek other funding.
Yeah.
So if we could find about $100,000 somewhere, it only costs us 100, then
Right.
we've had a good investment.
You know what?
Yeah, that's a good.
Every place I've heard you go, you need 200,000.
Right.
City TIF gave you 100. Now,
I would have been afraid, yeah.
We're still up to 200,000.
Well, that's because it's different things. So that initial ask obviously was 100,000 for city tip goes to the initial front porch turf. Because that was communication with Josh early on, that's what their city would be able to provide to us.
That was just what I couldn't understand.
Yeah, so then there was phase 2.
200,000.
So phase 2 and 3 requires 200,000 completed there. That's why it was 200,000.
So do we have a way we can work this out where he can slowly pay this back? No, that's.
Well, I think if we go ahead and approve the money now, we got this summer to see what the revenues are
Yeah,
gonna be.
it's gonna, yeah,
See
I
what
agree
kind
with
of
that.
payback land that
Right.
you could handle without putting yourself in a bind.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't show a profit after this, a return after the first summer, we're in trouble anyway.
In my opinion, I think we've thrown enough money at it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
you
just,
know how I vote. That's exactly how I vote.
I kind of agree with you, Danny, also, but I hate to lose the opportunity to save a tremendous amount of money and open up an avenue for more, to generate more revenue.
I just don't like going into local income
I
tax.
understand.
We went to ARPA, we went to TIF. Those are two, ARPA was COVID cash, I call it.
Yeah.
And then TIF is Honda money. But you understand that. Now we're digging into local income tax, which is,
Are we currently funding Build Indiana?
I think it's
It's a one-time.
I don't think they can anymore. Did I hear that right? Build Indiana Fund, whatever was in it, had to be left there.
Build Indiana or build,
Build Decatur County.
Decatur County, yeah.
right, we're not allowed to move it.
We're
So
not
we
allowed
have
to
to
move
stay. what's-
Has to
Has
be
to stay
staying
in
there, and it has to be spent out of
But
there.
is there more funding still going in there?
Yes, you appropriated, I want to say, a little over 300,000 for this year, and I just got the balance. Okay. 281,200 right now in that appropriation.
Okay.
So if we appropriate 250, we've only got 30 some.
Well, it could appropriate max of 200.
200.
Yeah.
Figure out how to get the rest.
I think you'll get some sponsors,
I think.
naming rights.
I have 2 worries. One, it's easy when you know the money's already there to not be aggressive to find the money. So that worries me a little bit. 2, what Ashley said, as far as we are looking at potentially not having money coming in going forward, the way it's looking at the state level. So if we use it, it might be gone for good. So that's my 2 biggest concerns.
I agree with that concern, and I've been, not to say that isn't valid, I mean, but I think way the commissioner saw it is that we've been pretty aggressive trying to find funds, you know what I mean, and they wanna make sure we meet deadlines. I'm not missing out. I mean, they unanimously agree I'm moving forward. I'll still be aggressive. I'm gonna do my best.
Teresa, are you at liberty to say how much income comes off of a Friday night basketball game at Greensburg High School?
As far as what I take in a night out there,
I mean, we could all probably assume what the net profit is, but I just wonder if there's enough profit margin in concessions to provide the monies that Rob's saying support that. If that's where our biggest income's gonna be, is concession.
Well, on a regular varsity night that you're talking about, I mean, and again, it depends, the night, of course, but we've taken in over, and I say taken in, like we, sell, 3,000 or more in a night out there for one JV varsity game. I'd say that's on the high end. We've had our high points.
So gross would be about three grand. And
Yes, but then I don't know. I don't see the actual printout for the year. What we actually end up at the end of the year. I could probably look into that
I just
to see.
a little more teeth into the fact that you're gonna fund something out of concessions. And anytime I've been to a baseball or softball tourney, you got a cooler on the back of your shoulder and you're taking in your.
Well, most of your
stuff.
travel tournaments will not permit you to bring in the coolers anymore.
Volleyball tournaments.
And I've also been in club volleyball. You can get around it. People do get around it. I'm not saying that they don't, but they don't openly allow you to bring it in as much as you police that, I guess, is where you'll draw the line as to how much that they will have to buy. You're always going to have some people that that are going to
Try
bring
to
concessions.
enforce the rules, right? Yeah. So obviously, we will post outside those, no outside coolers.
Is there any admittance fee to these spectator fee? I know like Shareland, they charge you to get in the park, I think.
Sure, yeah. So that's what I was talking about before.
That's
And set up. So that's kind of why we put the ticket out there too, so they can have.
Yeah, we don't get it.
What's that?
We don't get it.
They take that's how they're making money. They make the money on entry fees. So they're the ones taking on having to pay their officials and things like
Yeah,
that.
but what if you just want to come in and watch the game? About those spectators.
And you have to pay.
you pay a gate fee to get in to watch a game.
So we're gonna charge that gate.
We don't
We-
get it.
Yeah,
Tournament.
tournaments.
They take it.
Now,
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that an outside tournament, people want to come in that we're not contracted with, we could possibly negotiate that. On that specific tournament that we're contracted with, they get the gate revenue.
So we'll get rental and we'll get concession.
We have to make it off rental fee.
Rental
And the
concession.
concessions.
And to your question, Rick, as far as projections on actual revenue, the difference between what I do at schools and what we'll be doing out there, this will be run more like what we did. I'll have employees that'll have to be paid. So it'll be a whole new thing for me to kind of to compare to that. But we managed it with the pool. Right now I'm still in the hiring process trying to get applications and get going. So it's going to be, like I said, this is going to be a transition year and a learning year for everybody. And I don't know that we'll be able to just predict the actual, I don't want to use the word success or not success, but this first year is going to be learning. It's something that we've never done and it's new, and we're going to have to work through it, Rob and I and everybody, just to see how we can make it the best and make the best revenue.
With that too, obviously we're going from cash to point of sale out there as well. So, it's going to be a learning curve, and ideally, Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, we want to get back to allowing non-for-profits work out there to raise money under supervision, right? Somebody on the right side of it, that type of stuff. So,
Yeah, we will probably be doing that as well to supplement, especially tournaments where you've got to fund it or staff it for, 12 hours a day. It's going to take a lot of people.
Local group wants to put on a softball tournament. They would pay rental in on the diamonds. How would that work?
that's
If they're inviting out of county teams? I could see somebody saying, okay, I'm gonna set
I
up a
think if they're
tournament.
generating revenue, they should pay to rent the people. You know what I mean?
Well, that's my question. I mean,
Yeah. It may be.
There would have, if someone wants to run a tournament, there would have to be rental fees to them.
Yeah.
Similar to what we're doing.
if it's an all county residence, that would be different. But probably most of them are.
Look at like our referees, I run a tournament.
A tournament that's making money, we should have a rental fee involved with how we do for other things to generate our revenue back. Yes.
Because if nothing else, there's still gonna be wear and tear put on this.
Right.
No matter who it is.
Right.
Can't tell you it's generating word of mouth in Decatur County. I've had parents at work in Indianapolis that have.
Yeah, it's in the end of the day, I mean, with this, I mean, we could come from here, our facility already, I mean, given the fields were in bad condition, we have a nice facility compared to a lot of the others. Just the way it's laid out, we have the nets, we have places, like Ashley saying, you know, they know that our complex was nice. It was a place they'd like to come play, the way the layout is, where we're at, the things they can do. And they're excited to be back. I feel like, I feel the calls about people wanting to camp over there. Where do we go to hook up? Things like that. So I've had to get those over to Purdue Extension so they can reserve their spots for this tournament already.
I think you can be confident that you're not only going to be drawing participants from outside the county, but outside the state as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they travel quite a distance to play in these tournaments, so.
We're not gonna see it as much as the county as a tourism.
Right.
Well,
The
it's just sitting there.
revenue's gonna
I mean, I think in the end, they'll see. You know, I mean, it's like, I don't want to say I'm gonna prove you wrong, but you guys understand, I appreciate, you know, the council of commissioners' vision on this too, and their agreement to get it started. You know, I think it's gonna be a huge impact for the county and the city.
And hopefully those places that do see it, that we're talking about, will want to jump on board and be one of the sponsors and help,
Yeah.
you know, help us in the long run.
I think it's a pretty small, I mean, it's still $200,000, but I think it's a pretty small investment for what we're talking about here in the long run. And I think we could put our blessing on it based on the fact that we want to look at some type of repayment schedule before the end of the year, set it up that way. But I think long term and looking at the big picture here, not just the ball diamonds themselves, what it's going to do for the county, the city, and the businesses here, and we've got the fairgrounds project going on. I think it's money well invested. So.
Yes, I agree with Kenny. I think as long as we get it paid back, and figured out by December, I'm okay with it.
I agree.
So I'd make the motion that we approve the $200,000 based on the stipulation of some, that we revisit it before December on some type of a repayment plan based on what the balance is that needs to be put out. Because if Bob's going to continue to try to get monies, we may not need to invest 200, it may be 150, I don't know, but
Up to 200.
up to 200. Yeah, I wouldn't go more than 200.
Did you get that, Christie?
I did.
I'll say,
Got a motion by Kenny, second by Ernie. Any other discussion?
I think making it mandatory that it's paid back is a good idea. I like that idea.
Okay. I'd really like to have a roll call vote. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Christie?
Okay. Deanna Burkhart,
Aye.
Ernie Dow,
Yes.
Kenny Hooten,
Yes.
Ashley Hungate,
Yes.
Bill Metz,
yes,
Rick Nobby,
Yes.
Danny Peters.
No.
There we go. We'll get something done, will you?
I'm ready. I'm good.
Wednesday, you said, told me, yesterday, that the 4 fields, that they'd be done Wednesday.
Yeah, they should be, honestly, I don't want it to be real loud because as soon as somebody goes out and plays on it, that means they're done. I don't want anybody out there playing their DNC playing, so.
how close are the back? Is dirt work done?
So that's a good, so first off, thank you guys, everybody's input, feedback on that, I appreciate it, and, not beat me up too bad, it's been a couple months, but anyway, the back four,
Yeah.
so the back four, obviously, the game plan is obviously to get those, to get 5 and 8 started because they can be connected to drainage soon. Wait, Brad says, Wade's got it laid out right now. So 5 will connect into 4. It's already run into the current storm. And then he was out there yesterday, so him and Jesse came up with a plan to get this minimal dollars to get those ready for play. I mean, get the holes going in, cut the turns off, get them turned over. We're not adding any material to those, just turning it over a little bit to get them ready for play here in the next couple of weeks. Practices for record. They'll use those 6 diamonds with the use of, they also will use Kohler Park. We're opening it up for them other than Mondays and Fridays, because that's when, right, Teresa?
Yes.
Co-ed plays. And then the high school was also, Greensburg High School is going to allow us to use their JV. We have their schedule. I've given that schedule on nights they don't have games out there or practices at 5:30 every night. They're done. So our local rec league teams will be able to use that JV field as well at the high school to practice on through April. Because our games start in May, they won't be practicing. We'll have enough.
Because 7 and 8 are not done. Is that the reason they're using these other
5 and 8.
5?
5 and 8 will be shut down so Brad can start working on those.
Because he didn't have any of the dirt moved or anything. I
No,
know
people start, obviously so what we can do right now, all the way through the month of March still, is if you go onto our website, you can actually reserve those spots. And what will happen is if you put in there that you're out of county, it's gonna charge you $25 to use one of those dirt diamonds. You have to pay, you can pay that right now. So if your address is in county though, obviously you can go out and use that diamond, reserve it. That way there's accountability too. So if they want to go out there and had to reserve somebody else's diamond, hey, I'll pull up the website, I have this reserved. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's instances where people go out there, they want to practice, well, I was here first. And, yeah, that's everything that does too. It kind of just takes care of
That's
that
how
right there.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So it kind of, it gives them a sense of accountability.
Do we kind of police that when it's off season? I mean, keep people off of it, or how do you do?
So, no, not right now. I mean, there is one. Let's have somebody out there, yeah.
We have been,
Yeah, I did. I do want to thank, I want to thank Sheriff Myros too, because I know when that turf was delivered, they put it right there in the black lot. He's like, man, I could just see some punk just coming up and driving to do it or trying to push it with their truck or doing something. So I asked him to increase patrols and he did that for us.
we were hitting shooting 4 times a night.
Well,
That's awesome.
I see him out at the new park, the bicycles up riding across.
Yeah.
I went over to run one of them off.
On the turf with their bike.
Yeah, they had their bike on, jumping.
On the top of the one piece, yeah.
Just, it was brand new.
So if you haven't been out there, you'll notice, we did add fencing to the back of the gates, like the ones that, like the back entrances of those diamonds. Obviously that cuts out anybody getting through there.
Yeah.
And then, we did receive, it was right around a little under $18,600, which is what the estimate was for added fencing to the complex. And what we did is obviously between 1 and 2, we're going to make a maintenance entry gate right there for deliveries and those types of things. A lot of people just flow right through that entrance. And then from 2 to 8, their fencing goes across the main entrance, comes down, and then goes across to 8. 6-foot fence, 5-foot, 6-foot, that's a good number. That goes through there. And there'll be a main gate there, and then back by where the north lot is, between 1 and 5, there's a fencing too. And then we also have it going from the back of 5, kind of where Cochran's property is there. They'll be there so you can't sneak around the back. So I think that'll help security as well. I've had people say that, oh, since you're blocking it in, that people then want to go tear it up more. We'll see. We have cameras going in around the concession, 4 different ones that give us 180-degree view that are motion sense, and they have that they'll set off a siren and a strobe light off. So obviously it doesn't notify the police, but then hopefully it'll scare somebody off. And if there is, an officer driving by, then if they saw a strobe going off, heard an alarm, maybe it's, oh, there's something going on. But also goes to my phone. So if I didn't see somebody then on the camera, whoever wants to have it on their phone, it's on an app. Teresa doesn't, I'm sure. But if I've been pulled up, there's alarm goes off in the middle of the night, and I see it, I can then call the police. A lot of things going on out there. So yes, definitely we are busy in the group. Teresa's probably mad at me
Because of what?
Anybody got anything?
I'm gonna give you guys, thank you all again very much. I'm gonna just give you guys these numbers here.
Dawn, do you have anything for us?
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah. So this,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Any next motion to adjourn?
I'll say it.
You're in second. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
Yeah.